There's a lot of misunderstanding about faith today. On the one hand, some believers try to force themselves to be in faith. Often this means they end up pretending they're in faith when they really aren't. It's like they're trying to fake it till they make it, but that doesn't work. On the other hand are those who are praying that God will give them the faith they need. Folks in this camp are passive and tend to believe that God is in control and that he'll just magically plop faith into their hearts if he wants them to have it. But that's not how faith works either. The problem is that we mostly don't understand what faith is and how it works. It turns out we're in pretty good company because the disciples didn't understand faith in Jesus' day either. A good example of this is when Jesus cursed the fig tree. In Mark chapter 11, we see this account. Jesus was hungry and saw a fig tree full of leaves. And since fig trees in that region start producing their fruit before they leaf up, the tree looked from a distance like it should have been fruitful, even though it was earlier than most fig trees produce their fruit. Unfortunately, Jesus found that the tree had no fruit whatsoever. In response, he cursed the tree and it dried up from the roots. The parallel account in Matthew chapter 21 says that the disciples were astonished to see that the tree had died. Then Jesus explains to all of us how faith works. So Jesus answered and said to them, "Have faith in God, for assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, 'Be removed and cast into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says." This passage shows us that there are two key components to faith. First, Jesus says that we speak to the mountain. Speaking is the activation portion of faith. We must say what we want our faith to produce. Some miss it at this point, and instead of speaking to the mountain and telling it to move, they speak to God about the mountain and ask him to move it. Or they might not speak at all, while they instead just wish or hope that the mountain would move. Others do see this and start speaking out all sorts of things without getting in place the other part of faith that Jesus revealed. They speak from a place of doubt and unbelief and also see very little results in their lives. However, Jesus said we must believe and not doubt in our hearts. This believing is much deeper than mental assent. We won't see supernatural results when we give something lip service. Instead, we must believe deep down in our hearts that it's so. We see this combination of believing and speaking when it comes to salvation. Romans 10:9 tells us if we believe in our hearts that God raised Jesus from the dead and confess him as Lord, then we will be saved. The next verse tells us why. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. When our heart believes the truth of a matter, our mouth then speaks out what we desire to receive from God based on that truth. It is these two things, believing and speaking, working together, which releases faith that produces supernatural results. Jesus said it this way, "Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them." The only way your heart can truly be fully persuaded is when it believes the truth of God's word. You can meditate on a truth that you find in the Bible to the point where your heart becomes fully convinced of that truth. Then you can speak out things based on that truth and see supernatural faith released to produce amazing results in your life and in the world around you.